Hello and welcome here again, live to the World Crypto Network. We just listened to the lecture of Pablo about financial inequality. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
And we're here joined by Juan. How are you doing, Juan?
Yeah, everything's fine, thanks.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, we are, of course, at the Hayek Summer Workshop. So my question for you would be, why are you here and how do you like it so far?
First of all, it's amazing. The last 3 days were just amazing. We learned a lot, and I think I'm here because there are at the university where we study normal things. You don't have the possibility to learn about Hayek or libertarian / classical liberal ideas, because I think in Germany and in the United States it's similar. They tend to be progressive and they aren't room for this new marginal thought. So this workshop is an opportunity to learn about topics we don't get to learn at normal seminars in the university.
And why do you think is that? Why do you think that these mainstream universities only teach the mainstream?
I think there isn't only a one answer. For example, in the economy, I think we are getting prepared for the job market. So in the job market, you have to know how the banks work, how you trade, or when you're doing business administration, things like marketing and stuff. And you don't really need to learn about the Hayekian perspective or public choice theory, which I think are important to know. But if you are working for a normal firm, it isn't that important for them to know if you know Hayek or you know the difference between Keynes and Hayek or what is Marxism, because you don't really need it in your everyday life. And the other way, I think universities are places where now in Frankfurt, for example, where I do study, things like Marxism is a thing. So if we are thinking they are teaching us the mainstream, but also in this left-leaning ideology. And just because it's a huge problem, which I can explain like in 2 minutes, but I think if you are new with the ideas, it sounds better to say I want the better for the rest of the people. So socialism, like Bernie Sanders style, is like just sounds fine because you only want to be a nice guy helping everybody, but you don't really understand how it does work or what is the ideas behind this big stage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do agree. And I think maybe further is that most of these universities are state-owned and operated universities.
Yeah, that's absolutely a good point. If you go to the United States, to the George Mason University, you're going to learn a lot more about Friedman and Hayek and public choice theory. And yeah, if it's a public university, it's obviously you aren't going to be that critical with the state, because the state don't want you to be critical against them itself. So it's what we should expect of a public university. You're right.
Exactly, right? Follow the money. If you're being paid by the state, well, you're not going to bite the hand that feeds you, right?
It's just like that. It's public choice theory bureaucrats, but because at the end of the day, professors are still bureaucrats because they are paid by the government, and you don't want to lose your job. I can completely understand. You need to feed a family, so you are doing what you're being paid for. And if you're going to be critical, you may lose your job. So it's like following an idea which isn't that important for the majority of the people, or just doing the mainstream thing, getting paid and just getting along.
Exactly, right. And so how did you get into these, let's say, liberal ideas, and how was your journey of discovery?
Oh, my journey is interesting because I think a lot of people start at the university and when they learn a little of economy. And that's why most of economists are kind of libertarians, classical liberals, and in political science and sociology, they are more like left-leaning. And I study political science, but my case is I come from a socialist country, so I do know what it means to give up your liberty, to a government that isn't efficient at all. When you say the money I have to pay for things I don't see, because the government is going to invest in things that aren't good for the main population. Because the biggest problem nowadays, I think, is that people think that there is a difference between economic actors and political actors. That political actors want the public good, that they are these nice guys that want the best for us all, and that's why they are in politics. But I think they are just normal people, and normal people, just like I said with the professors, they want to earn money, they want to earn a lot of it, because who wasn't? It's normal. And then I just saw extreme of it, because politics is all around the world the same, and I saw just a biggest example of them when they say like print media or freedom of speech, because they don't like what you are saying, they will just say, that's it, you're going to be banned, you're going to be censored. And for me, it was just hard to know. I didn't choose this. I was born in this country, and why I should comply with these things is saying someone upper us who doesn't know a shit about anything. Sorry. And coming to Germany, I think people in Germany, you live under freedom, and you think you take it from granted. You think of freedom, everyone has freedom and stuff. It's not that bad that the government is doing some stuff, but the problem is drawing the line. And when you don't draw the line, and you say it's just, like I said, taken from granted, then it's going to be bigger, bigger, bigger. And when you see, oh, that's too big, it's too late to react. So I think it's important for us to speak and to learn about some of the topics we were talking the last 3 days.
Exactly, right? So maybe as the next question here, I'm supporting the Ludwig van Mises family crest and of course the Bitcoin logo. And you are supporting here a little pin as well. So what is this about?
This is the pin. I'm a local coordinator for Students for Liberty here in Germany. Students for Liberty is the biggest network for liberal students or students pro-liberty all around the globe. We have groups in all the continents, and our main goal is to empower, develop, and educate the next generation of pro-liberty people. So we have a big spectrum of people from Bitcoin people, from political science, sociology, philosophy. We just want the people that, just like us, want to learn more instead of drinking beer the last 3 days in summer, because we are having the last days of sun here in Germany. And instead of doing this, we're in a room the whole day learning about Hayek and stuff, because we want to make an impact. And we think we should empower the people that want to do a difference. And we just want to give them like a scenario where we may help them. We organize events everywhere around the world. So if you're interested, you go to studentsforliberty.org and just look for the near event near your university. Maybe there is a group at your university, and there are like regional conferences all around the globe, and it's just a great form to get to know different peoples. Because if you speak from someone to Georgia, and someone from Venezuela, and someone from Africa, and someone from Finland, we are all getting different arguments, different ideas, but we all are pro-liberty. And it's just nice to understand other points of view that are in the same direction, but with eyes you didn't, or with ideas you didn't knew there were, because you just didn't live their lives. And I think it's a great opportunity to, if you are thirsty of knowing more, of trying, just like us, you have enough of the university, you want to learn something else, there is always opportunity. And just take your knowledge with 2 hands, say, I'm going to do it, take a book, learn for yourself. And there are a lot of Students for Liberty groups trying to help you during this journey. And that's what we do. We just are everyone voluntary, investing time, because we think it's the right thing to do, because we think a lot of people like our ideas, but they don't have the opportunity to reach the ideas. So we're trying to open the eyes of the people, saying, no, this is the only ideology, but you may read this. It makes sense. What do you think? And then maybe it's going to be involucrate. And just like I say, in informatics, in politics, in economy, in psychology, in philosophy, I think liberty is everywhere and we should defend it.
Oh yes, I agree, and that's what I've experienced coming to these sort of conferences, is the immense amount of different people that are here. The spectrum of ideas and of interests are immense. So maybe could you go a bit further into what type of events you're organizing, and what is there to do in this?
In Students for Liberty, we are all pretty much liberals. We have a lot of freedom, so we have these local groups in different university campus, and it's what you think is better. For example, we started with reading groups. Like we would do a Facebook event, and we would read, for example, the use of knowledge in society from Hayek. And the people will read this, we will meet, drink a beer, speak about that, or like the article from Albert Einstein, why socialist, or what is the name? Why I'm a socialist, or something like that. And just discuss why someone like Albert Einstein would appeal to this. And just like small talks, come new people like, oh, it's interesting. And you write to a local journalist, a local, in Frankfurt, local banker, and they come to you and speak about these topics. And in our regional or local groups, there are all kind of things. We watch documentaries, we read articles, we have presentations. And when we are getting bigger and bigger, you just use the network to do a regional conference, which are in most of the countries in all around the world. In Europe, we have the conference in Madrid, in Germany, in Vienna, I think in Helsinki we have one. The biggest one, which is all around Europe, was for 2 years in Prague. Now it's, I think, in Serbia, or I think in Serbia. Sorry if I'm wrong. And it's like you decide what you want to do. You just go around with a couple of people that think like you are. What do you want to learn? We want to learn more about Bitcoin. So you write someone that knows about Bitcoin. Say, can you come to the university? We have a room and talk us about Bitcoin. Why is Bitcoin important for liberty? Why is Bitcoin maybe the future of currency? And it's just taking action with your own hands and not expecting to read something in Facebook and saying, oh, cool, but I want to learn about this, so we're going to be active. And our network just help us to do this. It's like, do you need help? It's not that we get funded by the government or nothing like that. So many activities, it's like everyone is paying a little to buy water and some chips and stuff like that. It's like, it isn't a fancy thing, but it works. And that's what we want. The things that our message goes to someone that don't know much about these ideas, but maybe from 10, one is going to say, oh, that's good. I may read more, and 3 months later, he is going to be a local coordinator in his own or her own university and start a new movement and just expand our ideas.
Yes, that is fantastic. And yes, information is a critical thing to acquire the knowledge, right? If you have the information, but you also have to understand it. That is the internal process. But you're not yet done. You actually need to act upon this understood knowledge. It's to actually manifest physical change in this world. So I really appreciate what you're doing. This is
Thank you for the opportunity, and it was nice to meet you in the workshop.
I agree. And when the people will be interested in joining the Students for Liberty, where can they go and what will be the first steps?
Just like I say, go to studentsforliberty.org. It's a nice website, and you decide in which continent you are. North America, Europe, Africa, Asia. You click in there, and there are like the groups in the different cities. Just look for the one near you, and if sadly there is any group near you, just go to the regional conference in your country. You're getting to know a lot of people, and maybe you are going to be the next one starting a group in your university. The power is on you.
Yes, you have our permission to start a local meetup, either for Bitcoin, for Liberty, or whatever. So if you've waited for someone's permission, number one, you shouldn't have, but now you have it. So Juan, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks you, and thanks you guys.
And we're going to see each other on the next show. Bye-bye.